All right, y'all. Hey, it's your boy Crimson Red, and we lit. All right, so let's just jump right into it. I don't make it the pleasantries. So, welcome, y'all. And I just wanted to say I am a pro-choice man. When it comes to the subject of a woman's body, the woman should be able to decide what happens with her own body. I feel like this is a simple enough premise. All right, there we go. I feel like this is a simple enough premise, but for some reason, um, this country has an issue with it. And the problem for me is just that there's religiotards on both sides trying to push their own agenda. So it's like if if you're going to use your religion to support your agenda and that's how you vote, then you need to go to the Bible and decide what's up with that. The problem is that there's a separation between church and state. So you can't use the Bible to enforce laws. You can use the Bible to support your opinions. So the woman who is collecting signatures for the petition approached me at the local Wally World, and she says, um, "I need your support. Support a sister. Support the sisters, so that we could have. It should be our body, our choice, and we want to be able to decide what happens with our own bodies. Cool. I get that. I understand that. That makes perfect sense. Um, but let me read it first, and it says that okay. It says that the decision should ultimately be made by the woman's healthcare provider, citing she has some sort of issue with her health. So I said, "Well, are you sure this is what you're pushing?" She said, "Yeah, it should be our choice." And well, basically reading it, it says that it's the healthcare provider's choice. Hmm. I mean, the healthcare provider is the one ultimately making the final decision. So is it really her choice? Why does it come down to a matter of health in this instance? A woman should be able to choose to have an abortion if she wants an abortion. It's literally her body. I am on the side of bodily autonomy. For those who don't understand, bodily autonomy means this: it means that no one has more control over a person's body than that person, meaning you cannot own that person. You cannot force that person to work. You cannot force that person to do anything or not do anything that does not infringe on the rights of another person and their bodily autonomy. Therefore, if a woman has a foreign body inside of her and she does not want it there anymore, she should be able to expel that body at her whim. It's a literally an unborn human literally qualifies as a parasite. It's a parasite. Don't argue with me, argue with the dictionary. That's what it is. If that human needs the sustenance of another person's body to survive and that person is not willing, it's no longer for us to decide whether it lives or dies. That's up to nature at that point. Bodily autonomy means that you cannot force that person to do that. So the other side of it is that um, the conservative Republican side says that they want to protect life, which brings into the question: when does life actually begin? And some say it begins at conception. Well, you can't control conception. Some people try to conceive a child for as long as, the years and can't. So, how do you know when the baby is conceived? How do you know when that human life is conceived? You don't know until she starts throwing up, until she actually suffers the effects of having a parasite inside of her. Um, so then, they're like, oh, well, you should have, would have, could have, you should have used protection, or you should have took birth control, or you should have abstained. At the point where she already wants an abortion, it's too late for the shoulda, woulda, couldas. We can't retroactively make people not have sex. Can't go back in time and take the sex back. That's not how that works. You have to deal with the issue as it is. And what now happens when you force a woman to remain pregnant? Welcome everybody that's in here. Yeah, feel free to drop your to drop your opinions. Just let me know. We'll talk about it. I respect everybody's opinion equally. This is a safe space. But yeah, they how do you really know when a child is conceived after sex? You don't know until you have to have some sort of procedure done. So how can you say that that's when you start to protect the life? How can you say that that life qualifies as a human? Why does that human have more rights to its host's body than the host? The host can't do anything. The host is not a the host is not can't be an athlete. The host can't go to work. The host doesn't want to deal with morning sickness. The host doesn't want to lose her body shape and figure. She wants to remain a model and she doesn't want to gain weight. She doesn't want to buy new clothes to fit her new body. She doesn't want to stretch her vagina out. And the husband doesn't want to stretch her vagina out, but he has no say in this. If you roll him with that cast, you know, she does not want to give birth. She does not want to be pregnant. Why is this a debate? Why do we have to vote whether a woman keeps her rights to herself or not? We're voting on this. Politicians and legislators are making laws about this. The problem is they're calling it murder. If you separate the host from the parasite, the parasite dies. Why? Because it's not supposed to be there. No, no, no. I'm joking. I'm joking. If you separate the host from the parasite, then it's up to nature whether that parasite makes it or not. At that point, it's no longer a parasite and it's no longer her parasite. It should ultimately just be her choice because if you force her, then what happens? Are you going to pay for her mommy makeover? You going to pay for her to lose the baby weight? You going to pay for her to take care of the person she did not want to take care of? No, it should not be up to the legislator. No, it should not be up to the father either. Because what happens when the father and the mother disagree? Again, you're faced with the same issue. Jab Low, what's going on, Playboy? He says, I feel like there should be a cap. There should be a cap on how many you could get simply because people abuse it. While that makes sense and it sounds humane, Low, having a cap is still deciding when a woman is forced to remain pregnant and doesn't want to be. I mean, what if the cap is 3 and she gets pregnant 4 times? She just don't want that baby. You at that point where again you're back to square one, forcing her to remain pregnant when she just doesn't want to be. So it's like, I mean, you really can't call it abuse when it's her body. It's the same thing when I say my body, my choice. It extends to everything. There's so many laws, and more laws creates more outlaws. You have more lawbreakers. Um, I feel like I've witnessed many women getting abortions. It's not really fun for them. They don't. It's not like they go out and purposely get pregnant just so that they can get an abortion. It's not like drugs, which is still my body, my choice, where they do it to get high. This is an issue where they mistakenly get pregnant when they don't want to. They can't get birth control. Nobody's paying for their birth control. I mean, yeah, if they can get birth control, then yeah, get birth control. Some of them are just irresponsible, bro. Some of them are just, you know. Here's the thing: if a woman is too irresponsible to force her beau to use condoms, right? It's a lot of pressure. A lot of times women be under pressure to not use condoms. You know how guys are. Come on, Lo. He just want to take the condom off just for a minute, just to feel the gushy. He want to feel that wet. Yeah, you know how niggas is. Niggas don't want to use condoms sometimes, and they put the pressure on these females. These females feel pressured, and then they just be like, "All right, fuck it." And then the guy smashed, and then he bounced. He didn't even give her his real name. He bounced. Now she's stuck. Is this the kind of person you want raising a child? She's too irresponsible to be on birth control, or poor, or whatever. Or maybe her body might reject birth control. Yeah, it is. It is crazy. But we talk about women, Lo. We talk about women. They operate on a sense of emotion. So yeah, to us it's crazy. It's chaotic. Is It don't make no sense. To them, when you operating on emotion, then you got to deal in real time. They're not thinking about the future. They're not thinking about you know. Yeah, sometimes women. That's right. Karen Maynard. Sometimes women do get pregnant while they on birth control. Sometimes them condoms rupture. If you it's how many guys bust and still keep going. Yeah, if you wearing a condom and you still keep going, and then the juices dry up and that condom ruptures, everything going in. If that condom ruptures, like, you know. So the thing is like, yeah, you want to put a cap on it and you want to decide, who gets it and who doesn't. Bruh. The fact is, if a woman is irresponsible, if a woman is too poor to do anything about it, if a woman is under pressure and she's emotional and can't help but make a poor decision regarding her sexuality and what she's doing, is that a woman you want raising a child in this society? Let her go get the abortion, bro. Look how many look on Mari. This chick, she was pregnant, had to test 14 baby daddies. 14. At first I was like, she gotta be lying. She ain't fucked 14 dudes in that one little time period. Then I had to think back to my own past. No, there are females that's smashing a different nigga every day. 4D fui. That's right. They're not charging them nothing. It's 4D fui. So yeah, you know, it's not always that easy decision for them. So it's like the last thing they can do about it. And again, I repeat, I've been not in the room, but I've taken girls to go get that abortion. It's not fun for them. It's something that they want to do. I want to thank everybody in here for joining me. I wasn't even sure if this microphone was working, to be honest with you. Take this off. Yeah, like you just can't really control the past. You can't control what the circumstances were that led up to her getting pregnant. And so that's a cross she has to bear. She can go into a clinic anonymously and just be like, look, gotta go to the chop shop, get this taken care of. That's her cross to bear. I know women who still I know women who still celebrate the children they aborted. They had, they were forced to get an abortion, or um, uh, uh, were pressured into it because they were with a man who didn't want children or whatever. So yeah, it's not a happy occasion for them. It's not something that they want to be doing, especially if they had to do it more than once. Now, let's get down to the health factors about it. Yeah, there's plenty of women who can't carry. There's plenty of women who, when they get pregnant, their lives are at risk and they're in danger. Um, yeah, but if the people voting, especially the majority, are going by religion and they're saying, "Oh, well, that's between her and God." Yeah, it's a bunch of doctors that say different. Like, yo, we can help, but they won't let them. It's becoming illegal. Doctors are getting arrested for having abortion clinics. When the law comes into it, we got to step up and protect the rights of bodily autonomy. At least that's my side of it. That's my side of my opinion. If anybody feels differently, you're more than welcome to state your opinions in the comment section. Also, remember, I'm on TikTok and I'm also on Twitter, IG. Remember to follow me on Cash App. Yeah, and support the show. Yo, keep this thing going, keep this thing running. I'm talking about what y'all want to be talking about. Like I said earlier, I was approached by the woman in the local Wally world. She was like, I'm getting these signatures uh for freedom, for our choice. Women should be making the choices on their own bodies. And the petition actually literally said that the petition was for healthcare providers to determine whether a woman needed an abortion to save her life. So yeah, if you're leaving it up to the healthcare provider, still a healthy woman, a physically healthy woman doesn't mean she's a mentally healthy woman. If she's not mentally healthy and she ends up getting pregnant by some one night stand when she was drunk, or she has a boyfriend or a husband, she gets pregnant and he dies and she can't do it alone. That may have been all she had, but you're gonna force her to go and do it. She may never have worked before. She may, have a whole bunch of crazy kind of issues, or maybe the baby is at risk. A lot of times, you might have a child predisposed to certain conditions that's going to leave the child handicapped, or just differently able, and some people can't handle that. Now, I'm not saying you should abort a child because the doctor said they're going to be handicapped. No, I'm just saying some people can't deal with it. What's bullshit, Karen? Please elaborate, because yeah, this is something that we're all going to have to vote on. This is something that's definitely going to affect us all. Um, you know, a woman might have been, yeah, you might have been a grandparent, and your daughter is out there all alone. Well, what are you going to do? Another side of the argument is just that. Another side of the argument is just that it's not how can I say this? I'm looking for the right word, y'all. Karen says doctors deciding whether or not a lady is able to have an abortion. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I feel like that's bullshit too. I mean, it's one thing if the doctor says that for the doctor to be able to tell her health is at risk. Now, if the doctor says your health is at risk, then at least that will support a woman who wanted to ultimately get an abortion, because a lot of women don't want to get the abortion. It's just that their health is at risk. They don't want to die over it, you know. Yeah, they're not trying to die. They're not trying to kill the child neither. Some people do look at it as murder, but I'll tell you this real quick. Those Republicans, those Republican females that think abortion is murder, let them have complications and see how they feel. Let them have life-threatening complications and see if they don't change their mind real quick. They want to live. That's is that literally the hill you want to die on? That abortion is murder? Uh, no, here's the misconception. You're not aborting a life. You're aborting the pregnancy. That's my position on it. A woman should not have to remain pregnant if she doesn't want to. That's all. I'm just saying it's her body. Now, children don't come by storks, She has to sacrifice her body to do this. And it should definitely just be her choice. Why is anyone else trying to weigh in on what she alone has to sacrifice? The doctor doesn't have to do anything. Her baby daddy doesn't have to do anything. The government doesn't have to do anything. Her job does not have to give her maternity leave. Her apartment does not, her landlord does not have to upgrade her to a 2-bedroom. She has to bear this burden alone when it comes to her body. All right. Secondly, we're talking about motherhood. Now you're trying to force somebody to be a mother? That's horrible. That's just as bad as when we're talking about forcing somebody to be a father, which we'll talk about tomorrow on a Father's Day episode. Make sure y'all tune in if you are a father or you got a father or you got a baby father. Tune in tomorrow. But I digress. Yeah, trying to force a woman to be a mother when she has already decided she doesn't want to be. Or maybe she already got enough kids and her husband is just insatiable. She don't want to have 10 kids, 15 kids, or she don't want to have little crumb snatchers running around. Or maybe she's at a place in her career and she just can't do this. It's not for anybody else to decide what a woman's priorities should be. Look, our society has come a long ways from women being property to women having rights, to women having equal rights, to women being able to work, to women being able to vote. Women's suffrage has lasted 1,000 times longer than their freedom. Now is not the time to regress and start taking their rights away. We cannot force them to we can't force them to a governmental whim and at the same time promote their freedom. It's hypocrisy. It should not stand. Karen is on the fence about it. Karen says, I wouldn't have an abortion, but I believe you should be able to if you want to for whatever reason. I'm not going to look down on a lady that does. I have no quarrels with that. That's the way it should be, Karen. I agree with you 100%. If a woman wants to do it, yeah, I want to say I'm not on the fence about it because I definitely have my position, but I do understand the other side. You are trying to protect life. That's noble. If you're on that side, then yeah, you'll see it as a noble thing. You don't want if you believe life begins at conception, you don't want to just go around and start killing the conceived, you know. Hey, cauliflower, I also agree with Karen. Yeah, you don't so that's a noble position. You don't want to just go around committing what you believe to be murder. You don't want to let other people do it too. And they're like, "Oh, it might have been the next Martin Luther King. It might have been the next Einstein." No, it wasn't going to be the next Einstein because Einstein wasn't aborted. It wasn't going to be the next Jesus Christ. No, it just wasn't going to be because mom wasn't ready, and that's just it. So um you can't have it both ways. You can't have rights and also be restricted on your rights. These are human rights. These are people's rights. So it's like you got to try to. I don't want to say see things. Let your decision be swayed by the opposition, but neither side is willing to budge. So it really just comes down to bodily autonomy. The opposite of pro life, the opposite of pro choice is no choice, not pro life. What are you doing for the life? This is a premise that's been around for so long. And this is what I was going to say earlier is that the other side of it, another way to debate this is talking about what about the life after birth? Okay, so the woman has professed she doesn't want to be a mother and you forced her to. Now, what are you going to do for her? I feel like if a woman says she wants government assistance to be a mother and you don't let her get an abortion, you should have to pay. Not the baby father. Stop with child support. Child support is bullshit. Stop. It's the same thing with a man. If he does not want to be a father, why are you trying to force him to be? You're making him pay because you try to force him to be a father. Sex and parenthood are two different things. Two different things. Just because you went to go get your willy wet doesn't mean you were ready to raise a whole human in this society. No, I just want bang, bang, bang. So if that's what it was about, again, you know, and all you're doing is taking his money. And so it's the same thing for a woman. You're forcing her to bring the child, and then you're going to force the father to pay for the child. What is the contribution made by the people doing all the forcing? What's their contribution? Yeah, she could get on welfare. Exactly, Karen. Karen says, "What are you going to do for the unwanted children that are now neglected?" Exactly. Like you don't have a plan. You don't have a plan for them. You just and then if either parent is negligent, they're going to jail. It's illegal to neglect the child too. So you can't neglect the child. You can't abort the child. You're just look at this population. This is crazy. This is crazy. Um, and you think, oh, well, the child might be the next blah blah blah. Look at the prison population. Those children were once, you know, candidates for abortion. Yeah, that's what happens when you're raised by people who don't want to raise you. You end up doing something. Don't let them face me. Don't let your unwanted child face me. Yeah, you better raise your kids right. I'm not the one that's going to be sitting here trying to re-raise your kids for you. Um, whatever you don't give them is going to be apparent. It's going to get exposed. So yeah, I just say that if those people trying to stop abortion were in that position, they probably changed their minds. I really don't see any woman like on the table, feet in stirrups, going through all that pain just to die like that. They're not like, hey, for the cause on their deathbed, which is also the birth bed of their child. They're not sacrificing themselves for the child. Now, if it's late term and they find out late, like, oh, they start having complications late, you know, after she's already grown to love the child and after she's already got attached to the child. And a mother, the plight of a mother is always the same. It's that she will die for her child, but that's after she's, imprinted. After the child has imprinted on her, then she will die for the child. But before the child is imprinted on her, it's just the source of her morning sickness. Can y'all hear me all right? I don't even know who is left on here. You still there with me, Karen? They're going to take the morning pill, the morning after pill, or Plan B off the market too. Yeah, that's the direction that they're going. Is that they also are opposed to uh prevention. They're opposed to Plan B and the whole family planning. They want all of it to just be natural. And that's the when you stop abortion, you set the precedent. And now what happens is you prioritize the parasite, which after birth becomes the person, the human with the social security number, fingerprints, and everything else. You prioritize that. And then you say, it's illegal to even not want children. It's illegal to play any part in it because the government has already played their part. It's illegal to, you know, to do anything to stop pregnancy. If they could, they stop condoms too. And they believe all of it is biblical. They believe all of it has to do with what's right. And so, yeah, I could definitely see a population boom. And like I said before, it's not a pleasant experience for the woman. You know, a lot of women tell me all the time they're haunted by the decision that they made, but they had to make it. It was that's their cross to bear. That's their burden. And so, yeah, like Lo said earlier, yeah, um, some people are going to abuse it, but guess what? It's their body to abuse. And so, I mean, we can't start taking control of people's bodies because that sets a really ugly precedent. And what's next? It's like what's next? Next, tattoos will be illegal because they want to control your skin. If they're controlling if they're controlling your reproductive organs, why can't they control the largest organ on your body, which is the skin? Then you can't get LASIK. They just want you to be all natural. It's just whatever hand nature deals you is what they want. It sounds ridiculous, but then so does a ban on abortion. It sounds just as ridiculous, in my opinion. You think you're protecting life, but what you're actually doing is violating rights. Protect the lives that are here. What is the government doing for? I mean, I'm going to keep going back to this, but what is the government doing for the families of unarmed Black people that are shot to death by police? What is pro-lifers doing about people in circumstances of wrongful deaths? What are pro-lifers doing for the people who are alive, not the people who will be alive? Karen says, I feel like if they force pregnancies and take abortions away, what's next? What are they going to force us to do? Government needs to be stopped. She said it all right there. Yeah. The government, here's the issue. The government is limited by what we vote on. So we have to vote. Um, I don't really know where people stand on whether votes count or not, but we also have to be careful what we're voting for because, like I said, the woman getting the petition to keep abortions going actually, I don't even know if she read that petition, but it was up to the doctors at that point. So it's like it's a slow process. First, you let the doctors say that a woman needs it, and then you can go and try to you know get the rest of the freedoms. But yeah, like once you set a precedent, you got to understand what we end up losing in the interim. And it's bad and it sucks. It sucks to have the government tell you what you can and can't have, but they don't step in the right places either. Why aren't they telling mega billionaires what they can and can't do? Why aren't they telling these giant corporations what they can and can't do? When McDonald's, that guy took McDonald's to court to say that the food that they were serving was not meant for human consumption, and he won the case, which took 10 years. But if you read the fine print, the FDA allows a certain amount of ammonia in your food. There's ammonia in your food poisoning you. You wonder where is all these health issues coming from? Health issues that our forefathers didn't have. Why are we having new diseases and new organ failures and new birth defects? They're putting ammonia in the food, and the FDA is allowing it. What are pro-lifers saying about that? You feel me? You can't be pro-life unless you care about life. not just abortion. I believe it's really just a ploy for them to gain some sort of footing and power so that they can then step in and say all the rest. But no, I don't want my freedoms to be based on someone else's oppression. I don't even want that. And anyone who does is already an oppressor. And they're the ones who need to be stopped. The people who are voting against us. Why are you voting on something that has nothing to do with you? You know, it shouldn't be a vote. It should just be a vote between women. Women who I mean, it shouldn't even be a vote. It should just be up to the women who want abortions. If you want an abortion, go get an abortion. Go ahead. I mean, you have so many women these days complaining about their baby dad. They complain about their baby dad. They really didn't want that. How do you explain to your child that they were a mistake? I used to think all kids were mistakes. So I met somebody that said they wanted to have kids, and I was like, on purpose? Hold on. You like want to actually go and slip one past the goalie for real? Not realizing that, yeah, that's how it should be. Because there's so many of us that were actually mistakes. It's not the happiest of situations, but I mean, this is what you have to deal with when you have to, sign off to get an abortion. What happens when a woman is 13, wants to get an abortion and her parents don't sign off on it? At 13, if she's old enough to get an abortion, nature has decided she's a fully grown woman. Nature decided that. Don't argue with me. Argue with the fact that she started ovulating at an early age and then went and made the decision to have sex. If it was actually her decision. We haven't even talked about the rape babies yet. What happens if she gets raped? She gets raped and her doctor says that she's fine and the baby's perfectly healthy. You gonna force her? No, she doesn't want to keep a rapist baby, you know? So yeah, like you can't take the right away from the woman. I believe in bodily autonomy. You gotta let them keep it. You gotta protect it. That's what I want to protect. I don't want to protect the life that's not here yet. I want to protect the life that has been here already. The life I know, the life that I see, the life that's working and contributing to society, the life that makes humanity what it is right now. That life. That's the life I want to protect. So I think I've said what I had to say. Thank you so very much. Low, Karen, Cauliflower. And I think, yeah, my closing thoughts are pretty much the same as my opening thoughts. Bodily autonomy is freedom. It's the freedom to do with your body whatever you want to do. Suicide is not a crime. You can take your own life. The reason why it's not a crime is because the people who make the laws understand that it's your life to take. It's your life. You can do with it whatever you want to do. They're trying to protect the lives of the unborn, but you can't do that without violating a woman's right to her own choice. So, my advice would be to vote libertarian, y'all. Get the Democrats and the Republicans out of the game. They're the ones making this so bad. They're the ones doing this. Get them out of the game. Let's vote libertarian, third party. Spread that word around because the last time I suggested it, I was on it for about 6 months and people said, "Oh, it's too late. Well, we don't know anything." Like them dumbasses, how you vote early and still think you didn't have time to research the other parties? No, no, no. Nobody liked Sleepy Joe and nobody liked that orange Oompa Loompa. Nobody liked them, but they voted for him. Why? Because they were too ignorant to look into the third party. Third party, libertarian. Vote libertarian, y'all. All right. And let's save the women. Let's protect our sisters. And yeah, I'm gonna leave on that note. So I want to thank everybody who participated. Tomorrow, we're coming back again live with the Daddy Issues episode. This is our Father's Day episode. We're going to keep this thing going. Again, I need y'all to support. Make sure y'all follow me on Cash App. All right. And Red Pill Red Pill Podcast is doing this everywhere. I'm your boy Crimson Red. And thank you for joining me. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're right here with me. Deuces, dogs.
Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it in, get up, get out my way if you ain't with it. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. I'ma do it to death till my last effing breath. Now let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it in, get up, get out my way if you ain't with it. Let's